Go ahead.
What was your favorite like sculpture you've made?
Favorite sculpture? Wow.
Favorite movie?
I think this was probably one of my favorite sculptures. It's kind of this
It looks pretty intense.
interesting
Did you make
alien.
it personally?
Yes, I did. Actually, I made everything about that. The costume, the little mask that goes on the front. That was for bedtime stories, and so it was like in the crowd somewhere. They just wanted us to make a bunch of aliens, and so I was like,
Buzz
I'm gonna make
How
one.
fun!
Yeah.
So I made a couple of different aliens, and so yes.
Were you always a good artist?
Okay, so
Guys, show them
That's-
show them the things you showed me last night.
it's just we don't have enough time, Nico. So you know what? I kind of drew a lot when I was in church. I'm gonna say this, but my mom would. I was a fidgety kid, and I was in. I would sit in sacrament, and my mom would always go, you know what? Why don't you just draw something? And so I'd sit there and draw, like that was my like art class during sacrament, right? So she has hymn books and different scriptures that I have drawn, like scenes of like AT-ATs walking, and Star Wars ships, and the X-wing fighters and stuff. And she has those all. I got to get copies of those.
That's so cute.
But so anyway, and I kind of grew. In school I was kind of like, oh yeah, Lilo's the cool one. He knows how to draw, and so like. I would always like win all the class contests and stuff like that, but I never really took it seriously. But I only took it seriously until after high school, when I got tired of working at like Subway and all these like fast food places, which is fine. But I kind of figured, I remember being in church and somebody was giving a lesson on if you have a talent, you gotta use it. Because the Lord gives it to you, and if you don't use it, what happens? Oh man, He'll snatch that right from you, right? So I kind of was thinking about that one day, and I know that my boss was kind of being a butthead, and so I was like, you know what? I don't want to work here anymore, and I'm gonna go do what the Lord had given me the talent to do. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go and focus on creative things. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to do something that would use my talent somehow. And so I took an animation course, and then I took a couple of other courses, a mask making course, and I figured out, this is kind of cool stuff. I kind of want to do this. And then I kind of met friends, and I kind of networked, and I finally got my first job on Power Rangers as a runner. You guys know what a runner is? Basically, a runner is a guy. He's kind of a grunt at a shop, kind of a guy that low on the totem pole that basically. He goes and picks up toilet paper and sweeps around the shop and does everything that nobody else wants to do. Okay? So I figured, you know what? I really want to go to school, but I don't have the money to go to school, so I'm going to try this out. And if I really like it, then I'll go to school. Well, guess what? They started paying me, and I was already in school. I was learning as I was doing things. I started off as the young Jedi, and then I was like learning stuff as I was going along. So I would go home, and after sitting around seeing what these guys were doing all day, I would go home and practice. How can you get better at something if you don't practice, So if you practice is what you need to do. Make all your mistakes now so that later you can be like solid with what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So, because you don't want to make mistakes while you're getting paid, because someone's going to go, this guy's making a lot of mistakes. Why am I paying this guy? Let me get somebody else that knows how to do it better. So that's what I did. I went home and I practiced. So, and then I got job after job. I started learning other things, and I started learning how to paint. I learned how to sculpt. I learned how to draw. I kind of knew how to draw already. So, but then I started learning how to make molds, and so I learned little bits of everything, and I started practicing those little bits of talents, and I started to build my career. Now, if you want to specialize, all I'm going to do is paint, or all I'm going to do is sculpt or design, then you kind of limit yourself. If you don't learn a bunch of things, then it's like having weapons. When you're going out to war, you want to have all kinds of different weapons, right? Cool? Because there's going to be somebody else next to you that's going to be so much cooler than you, and he's going to be like, dude, you're lame. I got this battle axe and this shield and this. You only got that little dinky sword, you know. So that's what I'm talking about, is learning different talents and learning different skills. If you want to be a video game designer, like Nico here,
I'm already working on one.
he's working on it. He's starting right now to learn those different things that he wants to do in the future. You guys got to do the same thing, and I'm sure you guys are, right? Do things that you know that you're gonna love day in and day out, because you're gonna have to go to work and you're gonna have to work. So why not do something that you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, if you don't do the things you don't like, I mean, then it just becomes work. And that's what they say, is that the secret to not working a day in your life is to do something that you love. I don't feel like I'm working. Well, I guess sometimes I do. But there are days where I can just work, and then I just look at my time and I go, oh man, it's like, I've like worked 10 hours already. It's like, that just flew by because I'm concentrating on things that I love to do. What do you guys like to do?
Invent things.
What do you like to do?
Build and play Lego.
There's got to be a job out there for that, right?
That's why I'm planning to be a Lego designer.
Gotta move to San Diego. Yeah. Design all their huge Lego things.
What do you like to do?
Hockey.
Hockey. Wow. I bet you're skating now and then, right?
I'm really good.
You're really good.
I'm the top player in the youngest league probably right now.
There you go. There you go. And what practice makes perfect, right? If you don't practice, it's all about doing something over and over again. You know what they tell you how to be a good sculptor? They say sculpt something and then put it aside and then sculpt something else and then put it aside and then sculpt something else and then do it again and do it again and do it again. And then you start to remember the little things that you worked so hard to do, like, oh, I don't know how that muscle or that eyeball looks like, but after you do it over like maybe the 10th time, you're like, dude, that's easy. I know how to do that. Same with anything else, right? Anybody else? Anybody? What do you like to do?
I actually like doing well, I haven't done a lot of sculpting, but I like art, like painting and drawing and stuff, sketching.
Awesome.
And I actually sketch in Sacramento. In the past I've sketched in Sacramento.
Dude, right here, man. Right there. This is the next guy, right?
Most of my sketching is in Sacramento.
Okay, so I'm not, saying that you should do this, but I'm saying that, I did a lot of times where I sculpted or I designed something or sketched something, and I'm still listening. So, moms, we can still listen, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, anybody else have something that they love doing? Yes.
I like building things and making robots.
Dude, keep doing it. Start now and start building things. Make them out of anything.
Oh, he does.
Make it out of paper.
Recycle bin.
What'd you like?
I like painting and programming.
See, you guys are the future of, all the digital stuff nowadays. All the digital printers, you can print stuff. You can sculpt in the computer. You don't need to do it this way. Although it's good to do it this way too, physically, because you learn there's some things you can't really get when you do it digitally. So that's another great thing to do is learn stuff digitally. Good job. Anybody else?
I like mechanics and building different things that can guess. He loves stove.
I kind of think I got that with the shirt, but so that's good. Being mechanical and learning how to do things like building your own cars. I mean, you're gonna be designing stuff, for yourself and you can change the world, man. Design stuff, man, and build stuff. That's what I like to do. Some guys like to go watch watch games or play video games and go to sports games. I just like making stuff, So I kind of lock myself in here and make stuff, Anybody else? Sienna?
My interest has been kind of into fashion designing, but I also like designing and concepts and just the making of anything. It's just interesting how the process goes for me.
And you're going to continue doing that. That's what you got to do. Do stuff that you love doing. All right.
I kind of want to be a police like my dad because I asked my dad like, "What do you do at work?" And it's just interesting what he says. So I kind of want to be a police. He does meetings, paperwork, he does wobbles.
You know,
He does trash. Paperwork.
you know, with your dad's job is so important. I mean, look at all there are a lot of bad guys out there. And if your dad's basically, your dad's a superhero. He doesn't even, you know, I don't know if you know that.
But he's a hero.
He is a superhero.
No, it's not super.
Well, I want to say he's super because a lot of people wouldn't do what he does. Okay? A lot of people don't put in the time and put their lives on the line. I would think that's a super duper job for me. So, to me, that's a superhero.
But
not the superhero you're talking about, like the guy that flies with a cape and stuff. But this is another superhero, I think.
Superman.
Yes. So your dad is doing an awesome job, and you're gonna do an awesome job too.
And we may be rich.
Anybody else?
Oh,
All right.
I had a question.
Nico.
Oh, so are you working on any Star Wars stuff?
Okay, so I worked on some Star Wars stuff, not for the movies, but for the Star Wars Celebration. That was so we made a lot of Stormtrooper outfits, and for the new Star Wars,
That looks like a
new Stormtrooper 7 for the next film. So we did a bunch of them. We made 100 of those, and so
Is that the new Stormtrooper helmet? Is
No,
that is,
actually,
That's actually the old one.
that's a the designer, the original designer is like Mark McQuarrie. He basically did a concept design of one of the Stormtroopers, and that was kind of a design that never got made. And so that was made from a friend of mine, Kevin Weir. He basically designed that, and he wore it at a convention in Germany. So he gave me one of his helmets, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like the design too. It's a little different from their traditional Stormtrooper, classic Stormtrooper. And this is another Stormtrooper that's from the Rebels series. I don't know if you guys ever watched Rebels. This is more of a. This is actually. There's another part to this. The animated series, their heads are a little bigger, so that's how they
like kind
look.
of the people in the big. I don't know what you call them.
Their proportions are a little different.
Lockers.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm going to do a little demonstration here. Oh, by the way.